Yes, and you've got it, and cue the titles. Here we go.
Aren't you glad to meet me?
Hello there, and welcome to Snazzy Variety 90, and this is Snazzy's Review Episode 1, and today we're going to be talking about Once Upon a Time, Season 6 and its entirety. And of course, not to mention the previous series in the process. So without further ado, let's bring forward to the overview of Once Upon a Time. Now, cue the titles. Here we go. Hello and welcome to the overview of Once Upon a Time, and we're going to be talking about the visions of 1 to 5, and then we're going to bring forth towards Season 6 review. As you know, Once Upon a Time is based on a stories of fairy tale where a woman named as Emma Swan, Jack Sparrow female type, comes in and saves everybody from a dark curse which is created by the evil queen known as Regina in our reality. And as you know, obviously the past memories of them are trapped between their realm and ours until the curse can be broken. And as it went along, obviously Emma Swan found her parents, Henry got kidnapped by the obviously Rumpelstiltskin's father. Then we obviously end up going towards the concept of Marianne comes back. We have Elsa come into Storybrooke, and obviously Anna comes in later on, and Marianne, but then obviously it turns out to be Regina's sister, Zelina in other words. And then not to mention, it becomes more and more, as obviously as we go along we have deaths of Regina's mum, which is known as killed by Snow White, which happens in Season 2. And then we obviously come towards Season 5, where Emma basically saves Regina from the darkness which has come out of Rumpelstiltskin, and has obviously, by the sounds of it, gone into Emma Swan, and she becomes the Dark One for the first part of Season 5. And then we end up realising it's gone into, obviously, Hook, because he was dying and she didn't want to lose him. Which, in all fairness, it's an understanding concept of reasons why. But then again, not being dark is also a good option. Then, obviously, the next part of that was obviously going to the underworld and defeating Hades. But unfortunately, coming towards that, Selena had to lose her love to Hades and kill him to save her own sister, which unfortunately became more lovable by the point when obviously Regina's mum Cora turned round and obviously found out that they had a past, that they are sisters, and that they are potentially related to each other, and they're both the same siblings. And then we come obviously, which will come to conclusion of obviously 1 to 5, and then Season 6 will be coming up shortly. So, as we go along, here comes the intro for Season 6 review. Here we go. Peace out. Hello and welcome to Season 6 review, and now we're going to come to the point where we explain what was good and how the fact the story came together. So in Season 6, this was obviously like Jennifer Morrison's very last season, as she's obviously been it for the last 6 years, which unfortunately is very sad. For all those who don't know, spoilers, do not watch this section. And of course, we find out obviously this is the Saviour's story and how they're prophesied to die, which is the end of their story. And not to mention, obviously, at the end of obviously the previous season, we find out obviously that Belle has a child with Rumpelstiltskin, which we find out, of course, which is prophesied, by which point, which is towards the end of the season, that we find out that obviously the child of Snow White and Prince Charming and Rumpelstiltskin fight each other, clash. The battle of good and evil. All because obviously the Dark Fairy put the final battle in place. And that's what the actual accomplishment of Emma being the saviour is, for her to fight the final battle. But yet, you know, what was the final battle? Well, it was to fight the final battle for her soul. Her soul of belief, which she never had the belief at the beginning of season 1. But yet we see the fact that she loses that belief, and she had to regain that belief by having the curse defeated, which was luckily defeated by Rumpelstiltskin, who, luckily for us, basically defeated his own mother. Which unfortunately is very rare for someone to defeat their own mother, of course, but then let's just say that obviously they have a complicated history where he wasn't even named by his own mother, or the fact he didn't even have a life with his own mother. His mother chose power over love. Like obviously Peter Pan, Rumpelstiltskin's father, chose power over love again and again. And yet obviously as we went through it, as through season 6, we understood the story further about Beauty and the Beast, which is Belle and Rumpelstiltskin. We understood the story again, and more about Cinderella, about her wicked stepsister, who's really not wicked, but really nice and wanted to have a life of her own. But unfortunately, the stepmother didn't want it to happen. Which is why the Land of Untold Stories was part of the concept, and Jekyll and Hyde was part of that concept as well. But then, to be fair, the bitter and twistedness of obviously Jekyll and Hyde was clearly an understatement, because obviously it had the concept where, well, they both were going to die eventually anyway, because they weren't going to last anyway. And yet, the one thing I did not expect was the evil queen, well, the evil half of Regina, which obviously got taken out at the end of season 5, which came into season 6, became good because she shared a heart, obviously, with the evil queen, which Regina did. Even though they battled in her own, obviously, her office. But then, they had still the complication of fighting out of the mirror, which obviously the evil queen did. They had to fight out of a curse, which was much larger than the sleeping curse originally and intended in season 1. And yet, all these purposes and all these reasons come to the conclusion of, yes, there was a good ending to the story, but then at one point to the concept is, how did it end up being future Henry? How did it end up being him having a daughter? Who was the wife? That's the one question of all. Who was the wife? And what does Regina and Rumpel do in season 7, since their place in the story doesn't seem to be revealed as such yet? But let's not forget there's a new casting list of people, like Adelaide Kane from Reign is now in Once Upon a Time, but her role is not revealed as such yet. But she is now one of the known new cast members of Once. So now please tune in a few moments with the next obviously intro coming up of How Do I Rate the Show. See you in a moment.
They always say congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hate.
Well, hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to rate Once Upon a Time and its current season. So as you know, obviously season 6 has ended and season 7's coming towards this autumn. But as you know, I'm a very good fan of Once Upon a Time, and I watched every single season back to front, more than you can ever imagine. So me choosing the rating for this is taking a lot of consideration and general aspect. On a general note, it's a 10 out of 10. But because obviously season 6 sounded like a bit of a backwards kind of aspect, because obviously it reversed itself back to the beginning in kind of a way, which I don't understand why the director has done that, to be fair, which makes no sense, to be fair. Because, number one, it's kind of like, makes no sense to the story, but then again, I understand why they've done it. But why do it when it could have kind of like led to the final battle in a different storyline, concept, etc, etc. Putting all that into consideration, I'm going to class it as an 8 out of 10. Because the reason why I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10 is because it's still got style. It's still got that kind of like cliffhanger, jumpy kind of whoa aspect. And you never know what's going to lead around the corner. So for my aspect, it will be an 8 out of 10. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen in season 7. And of course there will be a review on that, of course, as well. So thank you ever so much for watching today. I'm Snazzy, this is Snazzy Variety 90, and this is the official review of Once Upon a Time Season 6 and its entirety of the review of Once Upon a Time itself. Until next time, this is me, Snazzy, reviewing the shows, signing off. Goodbye for now. Ting ting. Peace out. Ew.